Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Screamin'. Welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and the Final Shape / Echoes intel. And today, once again, is Friday, so we have our Friday weekly update. Xur has returned, as well as Trials of Osiris. So I'll give you a brief rundown on those two things, as well as all the other farms, glitches, cheeses that you can use heading into the weekend. If you haven't had a chance to play very much this week, there are a plethora of things that you're probably going to want to take advantage of, including some good glitches. But first off, today Xur can be found in his new spot in the tower where he always is from this point forward. And he has something very, very interesting that I think everybody's going to want to use and take advantage of, because this is the first time Xur has ever sold Artifice Armor. That's a big deal. If you didn't know what Artifice Armor was before, you're going to want to know now. Essentially, this is a piece of armor that normally was only available from things like dungeons, that has another mod spot, an extra mod spot. So this is the best armor that you can actually acquire, though this isn't the best roll. But even at 65, because you have that extra mod slot, you can actually build into this very well. This is normally only available from things, as I said, like dungeons, but the newer dungeons. So Spire the Watcher, Duality, Warlord's Ruin, those are the places where you would normally acquire Artifice Armor. But now you can just buy it from Xur if he happens to bring it. I hope he brings it every single weekend from this point forward. But if you're looking for an excellent helmet, now's the time to go and pick one up from Xur on all three classes. I'm not sure what the roll will be on all three. As I said, 65 is certainly not the highest you can expect, but even with a subpar roll like this and only at 65, because you can build into it with that extra mod slot, it's still going to be better than a lot of legendary armor you're probably going to be able to acquire. So this is a really big deal. He has not done this previous to today, even in the previous 2 weeks since the Final Shape launched. So I think this is probably one of the best pieces of news that I've gotten in quite some time, and one of the most interesting things Xur has done, or at least updated for Xur in years, maybe since Xur ever first appeared in D1. But now let's get on to the other loot for rank rewards. We have the usual stuff. For multivarious strange offerings, we have the Accurus Catalyst, we have the Might of Multi-Tool Catalyst, we have a Shards of Galanor with a 66 roll. Actually not a terrible stat distribution for the hunters, though I'm sure people would love to see a little bit more in recovery and discipline, but still, mobility resilience isn't bad. Actually, I've heard that mobility isn't really that big a deal for hunters now either, so maybe want to skip on this one. We have the Armamentarium with a 67 roll and a great stat distribution, in my opinion, with excellent recovery and discipline for the Titans. And I think Armamentarium isn't too bad playing into the PvE meta at the moment, so maybe pick these up if you don't have a good roll on them already. Remember that you can actually now upgrade this armor to have an extra mod slot, so I think you can make it Artifice, essentially doing what that armor piece that Xur has brought today does, but on an exotic piece. And then we have the Kerenstein Armlets, which are a great exotic with a 69 roll. I know I'm going to hear that in the comments section, but unfortunately a terrible stat distribution where mobility is completely wasted. Intellect is also not a terrible stat, but not something you're looking for 26 out of, at least not with so little resilience and recovery. But at least it's good to see that the exotics are rolling on the higher range, meaning everything is above a 65. We have a Vanguard Engram with 3 engrams for sale for 31 strange coins. Remember, you can also get red borders from strange engrams now, so Xur is just altogether probably the best vendor in the game at this point. He was always kind of like the best vendor on a given day, meaning if Xur decided to be a good vendor, the best vendor, if he brought something good. His capability was always something positive, but very rarely did we ever actually see the culmination of how good his loot could be. I'm glad that we're seeing it a lot more now. Every week seems like there's something good. Over on the Strange Coin offerings, remember we have the Loyalty Favor of the Nine buff. This is actually very worth getting. It lasts for 11 days, so I think on average most people are going to be able to have 2 of these buffs running. It's going to award an extra Strange Coin for every one you receive. So if you receive 2, say at the end of a strike, you would receive 4 if you had this buff stacked twice. And it can actually stack 3 times, though I think that's probably going to be a little bit difficult to organize or orchestrate. You might need to do it on the last day, meaning buy this on a Tuesday morning before Xur actually resets, so that you could have it for the next 2 weeks, or at least in time to maybe activate a third on that first Friday of the third week. But I think for the most part, people are going to be able to have this buff at least stacked twice, which is of great benefit when it comes to Strange Coins. We have Ascendant Alloy available for 41 Strange Coins. We have Enhancement Cores available, at least a 3 stack, for 5 Strange Coins. More Enhancement Cores, 11 for 34 Strange Coins. Or excuse me, for 11 Strange Coins. We have 30,000 Glimmer available for 5 Strange Coins, and then we have 41,000 Glimmer available for 11 Strange Coins. I was curious last week why they were such odd numbers, but somebody pointed out to me that these are all primes. Of course, 3 and 11, easy to tell that those are primes, but I wouldn't have known necessarily that just by looking at them. I didn't think about it that 30,307 is a prime number, though it ends in 7, so it's a good guess. I think I should have probably made that association, but odd, who knows? Maybe that could lead to something in the future regarding Xur and secret quests, or maybe they just thought it was funny. We also have the Strange Gift for 1 Strange Coin, and then over on our Strange Gear offerings page, we have the Hawk Moon, of course, with Quick Draw and anything else good. Let's see, Quick Draw and Smooth Grip. We have the Crimson, which I believe is still a very good PvP-focused exotic, though people disagreed with me last week. So, I don't know. I still think this is really good. I actually think it's decent for PvE as well. Maybe not the highest DPS, but still a decent one all around, though maybe now that Red Death is back into the game and this was sort of just the copy of that, it's really not worth it as much. But I still find it does some good work in PvP, and it's very easy to use. We have a Merciless, which I can't remember the last time this was sold, but not a halfway decent fusion rifle. And then we have the Queensbreaker. I think this is sort of out of the meta at the moment. I haven't found myself wanting to use it or people telling me to use it in quite some time. For legendary weapons, we have a Night Watch with Snapshot Sight and Multi-Kill Clip. We have the Chroma Rush, which is a very good PvP-focused legendary auto rifle and is available normally only through Dares of Eternity. So it's a good place to pick this up. It's with Feeding Frenzy, which is as I said, a good PvP-focused role. Very user-friendly, this particular auto rifle. We have a Truth Teller with Pulse Monitor and Swashbuckler. Not a bad wave frame. I believe this was a wave frame grenade launcher if you're looking for a legendary one. Is this wave frame? Can't remember now. I think it's wave frame. Maybe it's not. But, yeah, Truth Teller's wave frame, right? Let me know in the comments. For some reason, I can't remember. We have a Tarnished Mantle with Shoot to Loot, Dragonfly, and Right Hook, Deep Sight Activation Weapon. I would definitely pick this up. This is a really good scout rifle for PvE, especially endgame stuff. Dragonfly, can't go wrong with it. I actually think might be better than Volt Shot. And, of course, you can craft this one if you have 5 Deep Sight Harmonizers. We have Outrageous Fortune with Snapshot and Rampage. We have the Code Dulo with Surplus and Unrelenting. And we have an Eternity's Edge with Infinite Guard, Energy Transfer, and Flash Counter. So out of the legendary weapons, remember I can get some red borders from these. I would definitely pick up the Tarnished Mantle, be my pick for the week, and maybe the Chroma Rush for PvP and PvE focused activities. For legendary armor, nothing's going to really compare to that piece of Artifice armor, but not terrible rolls across the board. Everything looks like it's in the mid-60s. For the Warlock, halfway decent helmet, semi-decent chest piece. Again, every single time I see stats and mobility, I'm like, can we just get that out of there, or at least make it do something? Doesn't seem to do really anything at this point, just kind of a wasted stat. But, you know, some halfway decent stuff. At least it looks like the armor has been updated, because I believe this is one of the sets that was actually glitched and was rolling in the mid-40s, so it hadn't been updated. But definitely pick up this piece of Artifice armor. If you don't have a piece of Artifice armor, it's probably going to be better than anything you have as far as legendary gear, even though the stat distribution is not that great. Let me know in the comment section down below what the stats were for the Hunter and Titan class. I believe the Titans actually had a slightly better piece of gear. Oh, and of course, over on our second page, we have the Exotic Cipher, which you can also get from your rank up. And that is going to be it for information regarding Xur today. Big shout out to my buddy Sinister for joining me at Xur. Sinister is also going to be doing another live stream for Trials of Osiris, if you're looking to get some viewer bounties done and get some free trials loot without actually having to play. Probably do an update video on that maybe over the weekend if people are still confused by it. Figured out a few things last week that might help people actually get those bounties functioning properly, as there are some issues with it. Not necessarily with linking your Bungie and Twitch account, which you have to have linked, but with where you do it, as it seemed like it was really only working for people who were on PC, though there is a way around that if you watch on phone. So look out for that video later this weekend. It was great that everybody was able to join last week. Some people were able to get some free trials loot, and you know, it's lucky that we have someone like Sinister who's not only good in Trials of Osiris, but also willing to slog it out for hours on end so that people can get some bounties done. Over at Banshee 44, remember this loot also now apparently rotates and refreshes at the same time as the daily reset timer. So whenever Xur and Trials show up, for me it's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So whatever the daily refresh is for you, now Banshee's loot will also refresh. Nothing terribly good as a standout, but just wanted to let you guys know. Fusion Rifle might not be too bad, and you'll skate with Dragonfly, and the 7th Seraph sidearm aren't too bad also for PvP. Gonna make our way over to Saint 14 to see what his Adept loot is for the weekend. And I do believe, though don't quote me, because sometimes these maps tend to rotate, but I do believe the Trials map for the weekend is the Endless Veil, which is a very old map, pretty tight quarters map. It's not something that I think people are going to get caught out a lot on, so I think the power dynamic of that map is fairly user-friendly, if I'm being honest, especially for people who don't play Trials that often. Remember, when you get to rank 10, you can get the Asura's Care, which is a very good pulse rifle for PvE as well as PvP-focused activities, but I always encourage people who don't play Trials or really Crucible that often to maybe try to get to rank 10, as a lot of these Trials weapons, even if you don't plan on using them in PvP, are incredible for PvE endgame activities, and this is one of those, as this can roll with both Slice and Hatchling on it. And for this week's Adept reward, it is also the Asura's Care Adept. So for those of you who do play Trials every weekend, my best of luck to you in getting what I'm sure is a God Roll pulse rifle, especially right now since pulse rifles are very much in the end game and have been buffed since the Final Shape launched. And that's going to be it for all the weekend activity stuff. Now, things that pertain more to weekly refresh kind of things, stuff that you might have not had a chance to do very much this week. But over on the Pale Heart, we have the Dual Destiny mission, which is still glitched. So if you're looking to get double exotic class items, you can still do the Joining Allies glitch to get 2 every single run. If you didn't know about that glitch, you can check out one of my previous videos. I'll have it linked in the top right corner covering it, but it was not fixed at this week's patch or update on Tuesday. Today's Legendary Lost Sector is in the Cosmodrome, over in the Forgotten Shore and Vale's Labyrinth. Haven't really run this Legendary Lost Sector that much myself, but it's probably an easy one as it's in the Cosmodrome. And if you're somebody who's very much underleveled and you look at 2020 active power cap, don't be too afraid by it, as you're adding Prismatic. If you're playing a Prismatic subclass, this is going to be very easy. I mean, you might not be able to bully your way through it, but you should be able to get through any of these Cosmodrome or, for that matter, EDZ Legendary Lost Sectors in under 8 minutes. It's a really great place to farm exotic loot, and remember that decrypting exotic loot at Master Raoul gives you a real big rank up. Remember to focus the exotic loot. Don't just cash in a random exotic Ingram. Focus a piece of exotic armor, and it'll upgrade you at least 4 ranks every single time you do it. If you get to rank 16, you can get the new exotics. So if you haven't gotten the new exotics yet, they will be available once you reach rank 16 on the Tier 3 focusing page. We also had the launch of the 12-man GM activity this week. Way over here. The Incision 12-man Grandmaster level. Haven't had a chance to play this that much this week, but apparently there is a pretty major cheese for the final boss that I'll probably cover later this week once I can confirm it. But certainly a fun activity, even when it wasn't Grandmaster. At Grandmaster, remember, it is not match made, so you're going to have to find a group, but excited to get into this over the weekend. I'm sure it's absolutely just chaotic once you get in there. Over on our Nightfall, remember GM Nightfalls launch next week, I believe. I thought they actually launched this week, but apparently it's next week. But we have the Disgraced strike for the Nightfall, and it is awarding the Undercurrent grenade launcher, which is like the little brother to the one you would get from Vow of the Disciple, whose name escapes me at the moment. Let me know in the comment section down below. But Waveframe grenade launcher, arc, can't go wrong with it. It's super meta at the moment, and there is a perk that you can get on this which is actually very, very broken. And like I said, I want to do a little bit more damage testing, or like I said with the Incision, I want to do a little bit more damage testing before I make a video on it, but look for that over the weekend. It's pretty broken at the moment, so chance to get your hands on an Undercurrent with a broken perk, as it's been updated a bit even since it launched. And that is going to be it for all the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2, the Final Shape, or Echoes content like this. Remember, you can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. Any of those things also enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel. We do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And when and if we reach 100,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away an Xbox Series X or a video card if you play on PC. Look out for any one of those videos that are probably going to come over the weekend, be it trials, incision, or about those broken perks on the undercurrent. If you're looking for the best way to farm out exotic class items, remember to check out my previous videos on that. Another big shout out to Sinister. If you've watched to this point in the video, you can leave a hashtag Xur or a hashtag the Final Shape or a hashtag Echoes or a hashtag Sinister in the comments section down below for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. Remember those secret hashtags I do at the end of every video stack. So if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, you can always go back, check out another video, and of course do it again. And once more, I'm Wilhelm Scream. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully everybody has a great weekend. And of course, we will see you next time.